Hey, I'm back with some more fun stuff for Croptoberfest. And if you're here in Utah, you can come join our Croptoberfest in person September 15th and 16th in Centerville. I'm going to look at some of the things in the project booklet today and show you what I did with them. And if you've already watched my project recipe video from Croptoberfest this year, you will know that I had a lot of paper left over. And I did that on purpose so I could cut out a lot more owls and have some extra pieces to do some double borders and some other things. So I'm actually going to focus on the borders in the project booklet today. This booklet comes with the customer bundle. So if you just buy the project recipe by itself, this is not included, but the customer bundle comes with the project booklet, a pack of Croptoberfest accessory paper, which is 6 sheets of additional designs in the same colors that match the project recipe, and also a package of the cardstock that matches the colors for Croptoberfest. The project recipe is included in that bundle as well. But borders today. So there is a cutting guide at the beginning of the booklet. It shows you how to take your papers from the accessory paper pack and the cardstock coordinating pack for Croptoberfest this year, and which ones to cut to make all of your pieces. So they're recommending some owl punch outs from the leftovers in this pack, but I actually did almost all of my owl punching from the leftovers I had in my project recipe. And they're just so cute. I will do a separate video where I show you how to use the owl punch and put those pieces together, and they're just dang adorable. I've mostly played with it using the Croptoberfest kit so far, but they would be so fun with lots of different colors and patterns as well. So for the borders, originally it's showing you just one border of each style that you can make. And then on the first border, which is, they're calling it project number 5, but it's the first of the 2 borders on this back page, they actually tell you you will have enough pieces of paper left over to do a second border, but you might not have extra embellishments. You might want to get a second pack of embellishments so you can spread those out. That's what I'm recommending and getting for all of my Croptoberfest guests this year. So there are some pieces that are cut out as waves. There are some circles cut out. There's this little kind of rectangle piece that's going to become almost the trunk base. And I'm not going to walk through creating these. The instructions here are pretty good. If you're following your cutting guide and looking at your ABC pieces, you can figure out what pieces you need and what sizes. But I'm going to show you my borders that I finished. And here's what I did. I ended up with, well, I purposely, not just ended up, but I purposely made a double border for each one so they can go across 2 pages. So here's my first one. I have not put the embellishments on yet. So Croptoberfest border project number 5. The original one was something like this. They've got 5 little owls spread across your big tree branch with the trunk in the middle, and I just did a matching one going the other direction. And I'll put a little bit of embellishing on these. And I don't know if you can see this, but I just took the brown Creative Memories thick tip of the pen from the dual tip pen and drew on some tree markings like bark. At first when I started, I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, if it was going to be too crazy looking, but with the brown on the hot fudge brown cardstock, it's pretty subtle. So even if you make a mistake, it's hard to tell that there's a mistake, and that just ends up giving it a little bit more dimension versus the plain cardstock. So I did like that, and that was what we see here in the finished example. I did that across both of my borders, so I've got kind of the trunk that would be in the middle of a 2-page spread going out to the edges. And the embellishments here are this birds of a feather flock together word and some feathers, which is super cute, of course. And if you wanted to, you can do another little cluster over here. You could spread out some more owls. I certainly have plenty more owls if we wanted more. So maybe I'll add another one over here, but I'll just pop my embellishments on here, and then my 2 borders will be done. So just for example, you could put them along the top or bottom or middle, wherever you want, of a 12-inch page. And if you are one who scraps on smaller pages, you could definitely shorten this border to fit on an 8-inch page or something else that's smaller. Now, I'm just attaching all of these pieces with regular tape runner today. But you could also put any of your owls or other embellishments on with foam squares. That would be really cute. So here we are, our birds of a feather flock together. The owl theme this year is just so cute. I really, really like it. And I'll tuck this one more guy up in here with his buddy. So we've got our two versions of border of the first border, project number 5. And you can see they've used different colors for their owls. You can use different colors for your owls. I had just punched out a lot of owl pieces using my leftovers from the original project recipe, and so that's what I put together. I ended up with a lot of variation between all of those different combinations. So the second border, which is project number 6, they're just showing one example again, and they don't specifically say you can make a second one, but I did, and I just had to trim some of my papers a little bit, so I had a little bit of extra. And I'll show you on the back of this. In fact, I'll show you on the backs of these too. So to have the extra navy blue to do the background for this one, like on your background that's this kind of oatmeal beige color, there's plenty of this paper to cut up that you don't end up using for something else in the projects. But there's not a ton of the navy blue to make these big wide strips behind. So what I did instead was just cut small skinny strips and lay them to the outside of that paper so I could have that same color. And then I just made sure that my pieces ended up being the same height. And since they're actually going to go together this way, having them the exact same height, it was not as big of a deal. So that's how I got enough of the navy blue from this pack to do that second border. And on this one, the booklet just has you make one border again, and you've got some wavy strips cut out from navy blue. I felt like there was plenty of that left over next door when I cut that piece out. We have the wavy piece, I just cut 2. And then I had plenty of the brown to cut out some more circles, my hot fudge. And again, plenty of owls because I cut out a ton of them. I was just playing a lot. I just thought they were really fun and cute. And on the back, I did not have a ton of the background paper for this one. So in the original border, they're doing the wide navy strips here. But I instead split my strips up, and as I showed you on this one, did them across those pages, or those borders. And then I used some of my leftover dark blue owl print from the project recipe that's got the owls and the leaves. And I did the same thing here, where I just cut some strips and attached them to the backs of this cute little multi-owl print that's the main part of the border. And that is the back side of this beige colored leaf, or not leaf, but tree print. So there's plenty of this paper to cut up into all the strips that I needed for all my borders. And then just spreading that out and getting a little more creative about which ones I used. I had enough to do 2 of the second border as well. Just need to be a little flexible with what you're using where. And since there's so many similar colors in the papers and the cardstocks, it ends up being pretty flexible. So I've got the example here where we did 2 owls, and in the middle, it's actually a sticker from the stickers in the project recipe kit that says "You're a hoot," and a little sticker heart. But in mine, since I was making 2, I was thinking of this either going across the top or bottom of the page and just putting my title right here. And I've misplaced some of my scraps. So I grabbed out a new sheet of stickers, and my owl punch, who's so cute. And if I didn't want to add a title, I mean, no reason to not have another owl here. He would be cute. But this little sticker here is what the example actually shows to use. You're a hoot, and you can see it kind of, it matches up with the size and shape of the punched owl. So I'm going to punch one more little owl to go there. And let's do, maybe not that color since it's right next to there already. That one's got kind of a busy pattern. Maybe we'll do this blue. See what else we've got going on across our other border. Got some tan. We've actually doubled up our tan pretty much everywhere. Got a few other ones. Yeah, let's go with that tan. We've got a lot of this one because we gutted 2 of those pages for the project recipe. So to punch out your owl, if you just want the owl body, you can slide your paper just on the one side. If you slide your paper into the whole thing, it's going to punch out all the owl pieces. And generally, I would recommend that. I'll do a separate video where we just make some owls. But today, I just want one little owl body to be my background for that title. Set aside these other scraps. And then this would go across 2 12-inch pages. Or again, you could make this smaller. Because this would still be a really cute border in a small book. Just want to size your pieces a little bit smaller. The owl is obviously a specific size. So that one cannot be sized smaller. But your the width of your border and the height could be a little bit smaller to match a different book. And then we'll add the "You're a Hoot" just right centered there. And that's a cute little border with a cute little title. And if you don't want to put "You're a Hoot," just plop another full owl on there. Or you can do some other embellishments. Maybe you want to do some owls and some leaves. Or if you've got a good pine tree punch or another tree that you want to include, that would be really cute mixed in here too. So those are the borders from the Croptoberfest project booklet. I thought these ideas were super cute, and it just took a little bit of extra work to be able to make 2 sets of the borders so I could have them across 2 pages. I'd love to see what you're doing with this, if you like these borders or if you want to mix it up a little bit. And if you're going to come to Croptoberfest, I will have this there for everybody to try out and use. Or it's available for customers to order on the Creative Armory's website as well.